Alright, so I've simulated a short circuit across a component on this board, and I'm going to power it on now. I'm going to be putting in a few volts, 13 volts, into this board. And we're going to see if we can figure out where the short is relatively quickly. So let's give it a shot. Let's plug it in and see what happens. All right, she's on. Oh, look at that. Seems like right there is our short on our board. See, I don't really need the high detail to find that. You know, that's good enough for me. You know, if that saves me a ton of time troubleshooting, where I can just power the board on and just give a quick scan of the board. That definitely saves some time for me. This camera's not that bad. Like I said, it's not anything spectacular. It doesn't have super great resolution. It does have its purpose, and this is definitely not one of them that was specified for this device. This is mostly looking for like leaky windows or insulation missing in a bay of your house or roof rafters. So I mean, it was specified for other uses, but I mean, I can find a simple use like this to be beneficial. So I do have an old house, so I do plan on using this to find some old some air leaks in my ducts. Like I said, the leaks in my windows, missing insulation in the walls. So I have a fair bit of use for this other than what I'm using it for right now currently. But that is pretty evident that it's going to be pretty useful for me finding short circuits. Like right now, I don't feel any heat with my hand there. Not at all. So that's what everybody does when they're checking for overheating components. Is they usually will feel around the board, feel components, and sometimes it's so slight that your body cannot tell the difference between one temperature or another if it's relatively close. But this camera can. So, all right, that's it. I thought I would just throw that out there for anybody that's looking to get a thermal. Like I said, this is not going to identify like individual SMD components. I would not think it would be able to, but you might see a dot, in certain places, but it's not very accurate to positioning with the MSX. If I just turn the thermal on, it will show you relatively the location of your short. Well, like I said, there's no definition as to parts, and if you get too close, you kind of get some reflection issues. So, but I mean, that's pretty evident if you zoom back a bit, and you can even turn MSX back on. It'll at least show you where to start, and this could totally be normal. If that was a regulator circuit that was on your board, you'd have to know the circuit that you're working with to identify it as an issue or not, because that could totally just be a regulator heating up to normal temperatures. So you kind of got to, be intuitive with some of these repairs when you use this thing. You can't just always go by, the hotspot is the problem, because you're going to have a lot of things that are going to heat up naturally, and there's no avoiding that. So you're going to have to see, okay, there's a short here, and there's no power components around here. This should not be getting hot in this area, and that is what I can see being this beneficial. But other than that, it's it's an expensive toy, but if you can find a use for it, like I said, I definitely have other uses for this other than this. So this is just a bonus. Just thought I'd point that out. Alright, so if you have any questions, leave it down in the comments, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. And if you like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Have a good night.